Hey diecast fans, so for today's comparison we're going to start by opening up this MiniGT Nissan GTR 35 in this blue Pandem body kit, and then a little later we're going to compare it to this Ignition Model version, which is also blue, just a little lighter and metallic. So let's first get started with this thing here. It says it's limited 1 of 3,000. Okay, I'm just going to cut through this. I don't really see these the whole blister pack. I want to display this in my cabinet, so okay. So we got that. There is the storage box. I think that's a pretty smart idea by MiniGT. When people get up to thousands of cars, they can't just have them on their walls, right? So they go into drawers. Okay, well, don't need to draw on that though. Or this. So let me just unrelease that. Okay, let's angle this down and take a closer look here at this model. It's a pretty heavy model, actually. That's my initial impression, the weight of it. Although personally, I actually prefer resin models. I prefer lighter models because I don't really play with them. But this is definitely playable if that's one of your things. It just seems like a really nice model to be playing with. Okay, so there does seem to be a metallic flake in this dark blue. It is nice. Okay, and actually, while I'm looking at this car, I did a little research on Pandem. It's a line, also same company makes Rocket Bunny body kits, and both of them are created by a Japanese gentleman, Kei Miura. And he laser scans cars, and then he uses a CAD program called Rhino to create his body kits. And they're mostly fiberglass body kits, although he does experiment with other materials like carbon and metals. And his first body kit was, I believe his first body kit was for a Ken Mary Skyline. So he's been doing this for a while. And if you look up Rocket Bunny, there's just a whole bunch of different body kits he's got going on. And he goes to SEMA and all that stuff and shows off his cars. So, okay, so that's what I learned about Pandem. I was curious. I'd never heard about them before, or really knew anything about them. Okay, so as I'm looking over this car, I am realizing, there's a little bit of orange peel here from the factory spray process. But initially, I don't see any major problems in the paint itself. You got these wire mesh wheels. I'm not sure if those are BBS rims or who's making those rims, but I notice also the axle of this, I'm not sure if that's, it doesn't look like it's spinning properly, although the car rolls fine. Weird. Okay. Well, anyways, we got this riveting here, riveting marks, which look pretty good, actually. This is a really crisp printing here of the Pandem. Alright. And then, I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. Okay, we got some, looks to be rising sun. And what is this? I'm not sure what that is either. Some interesting script. Pandem on the license plate looks great. These exhaust tips look really nice. They're physically indented and they're hit with the right amount of silver, so that's good. These taillights look pretty good. They seem to be clear plastic with red printing on them. I take that back. This taillight's messed up. Look at the center. It's not centered with the rest of the plastic, whereas this side is a better job. So really, all four of these are off. This one's a little bit up. This seems to be the most centered. That's way off, and that's off to the side. So I got bad luck here. But MiniGT, in the very off chance you see this video, I kind of think that production process needs to be figured out. It's not good. Okay. Wing looks pretty nice and smooth. It's a different color, and it is painted, so it's really nicely done. I like it. Okay. So window's nice. Well, hopefully that grime can come off. I might have to try to polish that with a Q-tip later. Okay, so this side here, I don't see any issues. So that's good. Wheels seem to roll a little better on this side. Okay, so let's look at the front. Sorry, I'm looking at it with my naked eye here. Okay, we got the Greddy intercooler, some ridging there in the casting, these depressions, some ridging in the grill there. I'm not sure if Pandem removes the GTR logo. I guess they must. Okay, so some brake ducts, I guess. Some holes there. And then these headlights, they're okay. Yeah, at least they're lensed, so that's good. Some indication of some sort of light bucket back there. Okay, a little black, nicely painted. Good definition between the black and the blue body, so that's a good paint app. And then this is really crisp as well, this yellow printing on the windshield, so that's good. Black interior, molded details. I don't see any of the color in that interior though, so it's very similar to a Kyosho, but I guess for the price point that's acceptable. Door handles are nicely painted as well. There's no over paint. It seems to have hit the mark, so good. The problem with the Mini GTs is, oh, look at this. This is new for me. I have a few Mini GTs, not many, and I used to complain that they never wrote what the car was. They just said Mini GT and made in China, but now they're printing the car. So this is fantastic. So, when you get a bunch of thousands of cars in your collection, you just start forgetting what some cars might be, or if you buy something used off eBay, or if you give it to a kid. It's just educational for a kid to pick this up and know this is a 2009 R35. So, wow, thank you, Mini GT. That's a nice surprise. Okay, so I guess my impression of this model is quite nice. I mean, there's no problems with the paint apps or the paint in general. I don't see any contaminants. So, as usual with Mini GT, the only alright, so again, those taillights are the only issue. That's a problem. Okay, so might be a bit of an unfair comparison because an Ignition model is a much more expensive model. It could be 3 to 6 times more expensive, so you gotta take that into account as to why the quality of this, it looks nicer. The main thing I'm noticing is the paint. If you look at the reflection of the LEDs above, it's much grainier there. It's much more wavy, like an orange peel, whereas this is smooth, and it's just nicer. So, and they actually do have similar wheels, but you can see this Ignition model. If you look at the spokes, they're narrower. The molding is a lot tighter. Now, I can't really say detracted for saying narrower spokes because maybe the real wheel in the real life has thick spokes like that. But I just feel like this is a crisper mold. The edges look a lot crisper, whereas these edges look a tiny bit more rounded and muted. Okay, the lug nuts I would say are actually quite similar, so pretty good on both accounts. Now, this Ignition does have the R logo. It should be GTR logo, but I only see an R. But the Mini GT has nothing printed there. It's just silver there. Alright, so sorry. Okay. Alright, so now and then, if I'm looking at the bolts here holding the body kit on, I think they're somewhat similar actually, as far as the definition of the bolts holding the over fenders. And then the printing seems quite similar in their crispness. This one's got a little more printing going on, but it's probably a different car. It has to, obviously it's a different car. The wing's totally different. Let's see, look at the back. Alright, so this is a big difference in what you're paying for, or what you're getting. So, random note I noticed here, this has silver paint in the mirrors, whereas the Mini GT doesn't have paint. But again, it's a much less expensive diecast. Okay, but it's really the taillights that I noticed when I first spun these around. This Ignition literally has clear plastic in the middle, and then the red plastic is translucent as well. So I believe this is a co-molded process where they're injecting red and clear into the same mold. I might be wrong, but I'm not sure how else to explain it. It looks like a one piece of plastic. Unless possibly they're painting the backside with a red ring. That is a possibility there, actually, now that I think of it. Whereas now MiniGT is just printing red on the outside. I would have guessed that it would have been nicer to print that red on the inside, right? But I'm sure they've tried it, and maybe you couldn't see enough of the red because the light doesn't get in there. I'm also thinking, when I really look at these two right lights, I think they're not in the right location. I think this should be turned 90 degrees counterclockwise, and it'll be more like that. Same with this. Maybe if that was turned 90 degrees. So it is screwed together. I might have to take that apart and see if I can reorient that light to make it look a little less wonky. Okay, so both of them have the license plate, and they're both pretty well printed. At least on my camera screen, I do feel that it's just a different proportion. This is a little more wide. I feel like subconsciously maybe this is a better printing, but it might just be because I know I paid a lot more for this model, so maybe I'm wrong. Tell me what you guys think. The exhaust tips here, they're thinner. The silver is a thinner tube, so that seems more realistic. This seems more toy-like. Okay. And then the definition of this concave surface on the car seems a little more pronounced here. It might be because it's a lighter paint, whereas this is a darker one, but I almost feel like this paint is thicker, which gives it a beautiful shine, but it kind of hides that line that you can clearly see on this one, right? The lines kind of vanishes on that one. Okay, so, I mean, sorry if it's been a little out of focus here, but you can pause every now and then and kind of compare those views. Well, let's take a look at the top view. There's not much to see other than that paint again. Well, I guess there is a difference. Again, the tightness of the body panel gaps. These just look tighter and more defined, whereas again, the paint is really filling this in. Which is kind of odd for a dark color, a dark metallic. I don't think they needed to lay on the paint so thick on that. There is molding detail differences here in the back interior. I don't know which is more accurate though. Okay, and the shape of these little ducts here on the front hood are different. These are longer, more triangular. These are just shorter, but I'm not sure which is more accurate again. Okay, so the question is, can I show the side view? This is where it gets hard to actually hold stuff. Maybe if I put the flashlight, that screwdriver there, okay, and then I'll just hold this car here. So you can pause the video if you like, and then kind of compare the two as you feel fit. Okay, so in summary, I'm quite happy with both models. For the price, this MiniGT is fantastic. It's awesome. In particular, I think I can fix those taillights, so it's going to be even more awesome. But I'll find out after this video. I do like that they actually now tell you what the car is on the bottom, so that's good for everyone in the future. And no one's gonna. Of course, this is awesome. It's an expensive model, so it's the only ignition I have. I'm not really sold on the other ignition ones. I don't like the body kits on the other models they make. They do have a Skyline, a classic Skyline, but the thing's like $100. I don't know. I think I'm gonna stick with the Kyosho's for $10. Alright, but anyways, if anyone really truly loves an R35, this is it. This is what you want. But if you like R35s, this is just as good, I think. I think it's a win-win either way you go. Alright, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.